Hey guys, I'm Samcrac, and when I was a freshman in college, I worked for minimum wage as a production assistant for a pretty significant syndicated radio show. Even though I worked around the host on a daily basis, I was almost certain he had no clue who I was, and clearly he didn't care. Behind the radio station facility was a gate. Behind that gate was where all the important people parked. One day, I remember the gate opening and seeing the show host drive up in a Rosa Corsa red Ferrari 360 Spyder. As he walked up to the building, I made eye contact with him and said, "Really nice car, man." He paused for a second and acknowledged me, and I was in shock. Like I said, I thought for sure he didn't care about anyone but himself. He turned to me and said, "Hey kid, keep putting in those hours. Work hard, and if you do, I'll have an even better one next year." Alright, so it's an old cheesy joke, but we really have managed to buy a Ferrari in a very unconventional way, saving a huge percentage off retail. And one of the best parts, we've not spent a ton of money fixing it up, at least not yet. I plan to continue this trend while repairing the Ferrari's floor. You see, this car was totaled by an insurance company due to its undercarriage damage, which dented and cracked up the aluminum floor. I bought a piece of scrap aluminum for $25 at the metal shop, and we're going to install it. But first, I wanted to address a few issues that were brought up in the comment section of our last video. First up is the concern that the Alfa Romeo pump that I bought for about 1/4 the cost of a Ferrari F1 pump motor is internally different and will be incompatible with the Ferrari's F1 pump. While there are a few slight visual differences like a gold casing on the original Ferrari motor versus the silver casing on the Alfa, everything else was extremely similar, if not exactly the same. There's a plastic fitting inside both pumps to connect the motor to the pump. If the shaft sizes were different, the plastic fitting wouldn't fit either, but it does. They are the same on both, so I'm convinced these are the same exact motors. Now for your second question. Did you get a new watch? Why, yes I did. It's the Rogue from Vincero. I love the Rogue not only for its detail and style, but the fact that it has a leather strap with a synthetic inside that's super comfortable to wear all day. It also has the signature Vincero Italian marble caseback. Basically, it's got the style of an old Italian sports car, but it's way more dependable. Another great feature is Vincero's easy interchangeable straps. You can change the look of your watch to match your style within a few quick seconds. Switch from gray to brown leather, or maybe even over to a sporty silicone style band. There's a ton of possibilities here. It's tough to beat the style, quality, and value of a Vincero watch, and right now you can save an additional 15% on your very own Vincero watch by visiting vincerowatches.com and using code SAMCRAC. I'll link all that in the description box below, and I want to give a huge thanks to Vincero for sponsoring this video. And by the way, there's a surplus tab on Vincero's site, and there's a ton of incredible designs at limited time prices, and my coupon code still works, so make sure you check it out. And for the last and most important concern, did the Alfa pump fix your transmission? I apologize for not clearly stating this, but I didn't test it in my last video because my immobilizer unit was absent from the car and being upgraded by specialized ECU repair. We'll discuss it in further detail later, but let me answer this question by simply trying the car out. Starting off here in the engine bay, here is the old pump motor. It's kind of greasy, that's why I got it sitting in a plastic bag. And our Alfa Romeo replacement pump motor, that was 25% the cost of our original. We'll take this, put it on the ground, close the engine bay. You hear the pump? So we know there's definitely a signal to it. I have my range extender alarm system installed by Specialized ECU Repair. So now that the immobilizer system is complete, car should start up, no issue. We'll hit this once and then put the keys in, check OK. A little rough startup, but everything's going well so far. Go ahead, put the car into reverse, give it a little bit of gas. Just the fact that we heard the pump noise when we opened the door and it's shifting into reverse proves that that pump is operating as it should, but we'll go ahead and take it down the road and shift through a couple gears to make sure it's really working right. So the Ferrari runs and it shifts pretty darn well, except the check engine light popped up again. We'll diagnose it soon, but right now I've got to fix that undercarriage damage. While I was at the hardware store picking up some drill bits and a cutting wheel, I noticed a self-service machine that duplicates keys. My Ferrari only came with one key, so what's the chance that this thing will work?
Your key is being identified. You may let go of your key. I'm sorry, we are unable to duplicate. Please remove your key.
I guess never mind. I'll look around for the Ferrari key machine next time. And the area we'll be working on today is the reason why this car was totaled, our undercarriage. We've got the cracked aluminum all around here. We've got to make sure that this is sealed, watertight, and really nice, clean, and flush looking. So we're going to start by just grinding off all the undercoating. So the black that you see here, that's all undercoating. You can see I've started a little test area here. It grinds off really nice and clean. So let's get the wire wheel, which I have right here, and get to work. Been working on this for a few hours. We've got a different change of plans here. So you can see now I've got a nice size hole where there was cracking. This was pretty mangled up metal and I didn't like it. It was flexing up and down. So I just kind of cut it out. So our disease section is gone. There's still some cracking back here, but that's for the most part pretty even. Now this was our original piece of metal that was supposed to cover all of this. The issue is that this, from where I've ground off all the undercoating forward, is all pretty flat until you get right here. It angles upward, and this thick piece of aluminum, well, it's just too thick and it doesn't flex at all. So I went and I got another piece of aluminum. You can see how much thinner it is. Now it's still pretty sturdy, and if you look at the floor itself, if I move it, it flexes a bit as well. So cut this piece, I've ground it all down, and you can see I don't have two hands on it, but it fits perfectly in place. Here, we're gonna move it up a little bit like that. And then the nice part is this will flex upward, so it will cover a little bit of our tiny little crack here, and by the time this is all in place and fastened and glued, then we'll go around everything with seam sealer, including our little crack here, and that will take care of our damages for the underside. And then we'll follow up with a little bit of repair on the inside. So right now let's grab some panel bond. We're gonna get our jack in place, and we're gonna start the first part of our floor repairs. Repairs are coming along really nice. We panel bonded this all in sections, and you can hear it. It's really nice and solid. I added some of these rivets here and some on the side. We got to finish up the back and this side as well. We're going to wire wheel all this excess panel bond off so it's nice and clean looking. We'll primer it and then we'll undercoat it. Before I show you our finished product, let's go back. Here's what it looked like originally. We have those cracks in the floor. I then went and cut a segment out of the cracks because it was just really nasty, really jagged, and really uneven. And here's what it looks like now. the piece of aluminum riveted and then undercoated, and it also has seam sealer around all the edges. Our undercoating texture paint, it's a little weird. It's smooth in some areas, it's a little bit rougher in the back areas, but either way, this is a really nice and functional repair, and it matches the regular undercoating of the car really well. Now if you look at the rest of the car, it looks almost like a grayer texture, and that's just because there's a sheen of dirt. The undercarriage of this car has never been cleaned off before, but otherwise our repair, like I said, is very functional and it's really nice and solid. We just need to wait for it to really dry now. Some of the seam sealer, I think, is still just a tiny bit wet. Remember earlier when I mentioned the antenna upgrade to the alarm or the immobilizer system? Let me show you how that works because it's really cool. Now this is the factory key fob, the one that I got with the car, and when you press this button, it's not even working. I'm literally, look, a few feet away. Now it sporadically works when you're close to the car, but the range is really poor on these things. Look, you would hear the doors click. Let me see. There we go. Okay, it worked on the third time. I mean, the range is really bad. And look, I'm gonna step a few feet away. I'm maybe about 12 feet away from the car at this point, and let's try it again. Okay, it worked there. I'm gonna step a few more feet away, and now I'm assuming it's gonna be completely dead, but we are maybe about 20, 25 feet away, and here we go. Focus on the key, here we go. Nothing. Nothing. There you go. Fifth time work. By installing this range extender, it should work every time and work from a much greater distance, according to them, maybe even over 100 feet away. Fast forward to now, our upgraded antenna has been installed. I want you guys to keep an eye right here on the turn signal. When we hit the remote, you'll see it blinks. And remember, inside the garage was only a few feet away when the remote completely stopped working. And inside a garage, as far as the way I understand, in a closed space, frequency waves travel easier. So this should be a more difficult test. Now we're substantially farther than we were in the garage. I'd say a good 30, 40 feet right now. Hit the button, still works from this far out. We're still moving back. We're approaching close to, I'd say 90 to 100 feet at this point. Hit the button, still works this far away. So I'd say their claims of 100 feet of range are very accurate. In my opinion, this is a must-have modification for my Ferrari 360 and really any Ferrari of this era. And I want to give a big thanks one more time to Specialized ECU Repair because they went above and beyond. When I sent them that module, they not only had it back in a couple of days, they also sent me a few videos of them testing the module and then explaining to me the relearn procedure if I needed to use it. Luckily, when I tried either one of my key fobs, as you can see right here, they just work right off the bat. I just showed you both of them, and I even got the red one inside. That one worked perfectly. So again, thank you very much, Specialized ECU Repair. And I want to show you one other cool thing. Right on the left here, this is the original key fob, the one that came with the car. This is one of the two that Specialized ECU Repair made for me. Now, I really wanted a key to go along with this fob, and so you can see right here, I had a key made. When I went to that self-service machine and it didn't work, I actually went to the desk where they cut keys at that same hardware store, and they weren't able to do it. All their machines were run by computers, and this size key just wouldn't work. Now, I thought that this might be the thing that gets me to go into the dealership, is having a second key cut. But on a whim, I stopped at an older school hardware store on the way home, and they had one of those basic key cutting machines, and check it out. It cost me $4 to get it cut. So for $24 plus the fob, again, if you were to get this done at the Ferrari dealership, there are people on the forums that say that this combination right here costs upward of $1,000 at the Ferrari dealership. I think I got all this done for around 25% of that. Similar story to the replacement Alfa Romeo pump that we installed. Now, even though the majority of the damage has been repaired on this car, the undercarriage and the ECUs here, we've still got a little bit of troubleshooting to do here in the engine bay, and that's what we're gonna do in our next video. We've got to figure out what cylinders this engine is misfiring from, and hopefully we'll be able to do that by diagnosing things through the OBD2 port. Although, when it comes to diagnosing Ferraris, they work off of a different type of scanner, one that is proprietary to the Ferrari brand. And if you were to buy one of those scanners, well, they're 5 figures, and they're not readily available anywhere. With the great amount of resource available on the 360 though, I'm hopeful we will get it done, and again, we will get it done on a budget. Now, if you're not already following me on Instagram, you can go right here, just click the link in the description box below where I post pictures and videos of the Ferrari and my other rebuild projects there before anything goes live here on YouTube. I want to give a huge thanks again to Vincero for sponsoring this video, and Specialized ECU Repair for being such an integral part in repairing our Ferrari. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today. I'll catch you very soon.